Critically evaluate the concept of zero-based budgeting, highlighting its key features, processes, advantages, and limitations. All right, so we can break this question into 5 parts. What are they? First is the concept of zero-based budgeting. The second is highlight the key features of zero-based budgeting. Third is explain the process of zero-based budgeting. Uh, Fourth one is what are the advantages of zero-based budgeting, and fifth is what are the limitations of zero-based budgeting. So, zero-based budgeting or ZBB in short, what is it? As the name suggests, everything starts at zero. That is zero based budgeting. The base is zero. Every rupee has to be justified from scratch every year, no matter what you got last year. Everything is reset back to zero, and when the new accounting period starts. So that is zero based budgeting. Now, if the traditional budgeting is like that, topping up of your phone plan based on your last month's usage, zero based budgeting is like reevaluating whether you even need that plan or that phone even before you pay for it. So this challenges all sorts of assumptions that we may have on the expenses that we usually incur and forces tough questions to budgeters. And when we do the zero based budgeting well, it redirects resources to what truly matters in a particular accounting year. So the zero based budgeting emerged in the 1970s. Okay, so this is not a recent concept or anything. It is there since 1970s as an alternative to incremental budgeting approach where last year's budget is simply adjusted. So in zero based budgeting, each department or cost center starts with a zero base. Managers will prepare the decision packages explaining each activity, its purpose, expected outcomes, as well as cost. And only after reviewing these packages against the strategic priorities of the organization, the top management is going to decide what is going to get funded. So, what are the key features? There are no historical, what you can say, historical spending bias. This is a very, very important feature of zero based by accounting. Similarly, this kind of budgeting, when the funds get allocated, it is based on the priority of the organization's goals. So it focuses on organization's most important objectives, and accordingly, priority is given to each of the tasks, and that is how the whole thing gets what you can say budgeted. Similarly, it is also efficiency focused. How come? How is it efficiency focused? Can you guess? It cuts unnecessary cost and streamlines the operations. That is how. And also, it has good amount of flexibility. It adjusts to the changing conditions quickly. Flexibility. Flexibility. Similarly, it also fosters a culture of innovation. It encourages rethinking every financial year and improving existing process. So for example, let's say a manufacturing company is using zero based budgeting. It might find that long running maintenance contracts may no longer be needed because we have a newer equipment which requires less servicing. Than that will free funds for some more research and development. This is only possible if we do zero based budgeting. Now, implementing the zero based budgeting is like assembling a puzzle in several stages. Hey, if you're enjoying this session, take a quick moment to subscribe to Anu's Classroom and turn on notifications so you will never miss an update. Your likes, shares, and even a super thanks or sticker are little boosts of encouragement that help me keep creating and growing this channel. You got any questions, ideas, or suggestions? Drop them in the comments. I love hearing from you and I'm always here to help however I can. Now let's head back. Implementing the zero based budgeting is like assembling a puzzle in several stages. So, what are these stages? What is the process of zero based budgeting? Let's look at it. It is mostly having 6 stages. The process is divided into 6 stages. The first stage is to identify the decision units, break down the organization into manageable parts like departments, marketing, HR, production, like that. Identify the decision units. Then comes developing the decision packages for each unit or say for each department. Prepare detailed objectives, activities, costs, and the expected outcomes. So that will become a decision package for that unit. And then evaluate and prioritize these decision packages. Assess which package aligns best with the strategic goals of the organization. And by strategic, I'm talking about the overall goals of the organization. Perform a cost to benefit analysis. And that is how you evaluate. And according to your evaluation, you prioritize these decision packages, and then you allocate resources accordingly, assign funds from a zero base according to the priority and not history. Okay, like the example of the manufacturing company I said earlier. Maybe last year you brought in some new equipment which needs lesser servicing, which has a longer life. Then you might not need to what you can say, allocate that much of maintenance serviceability fund, and that additional fund which you otherwise maybe till last year you were allocating for service personnels and all, now you can put it on the R&D. So like that, allocate resources accordingly, and then monitor the performance, track the actual results against the targets. Are our budget allocations meeting the target? Did we falter somewhere? Review it, monitor it, and finally review and adjust it annually. Reassess the packages for changing needs. The next iteration, the next financial year, when everything starts from April 1, don't go for whatever was there till March 31st. Rather, you start your zero based budgeting again, start from zero base again, and then you, what you can say, prepare it or allocate funds accordingly till the next March 31. Okay, adjust it annually. So it is like a sports team selection process. Each player, or in our case, a program, must prove their worth every season. No matter how well they played last year, doesn't matter. If they have to be in the next IPL team, they should show that they are worth it. Or if IPL has to be continued the next year, there should be enough fans or funding, whatever that is, right? Otherwise, it is going to get cancelled, just like our Netflix shows. Have you seen, there is a one Netflix show, Chaos, starring Goldblum and a lot of other newcomers. I was in there just to see Jeff Goldblum. So though the episodes were quite a bit, what you can say, confusing, we did not know how the things are going to play out, and they did actually end it at a cliffhanger, but the ratings were not that good. So when that season ended, Netflix chose to cancel it out. There are many such series, like maybe the first series was quite promising for a few people, but it ended up getting cancelled. So like that, it is all zero based budgeting. So, some of the strengths or the advantages of zero based budgeting are efficiency, strategic focus, flexibility, cost savings, encouraging innovation, things like that, right? How is it efficient? By eliminating wasteful spending. How does it have a strategic focus? By keeping the budgets aligned with the organizational goals or the strategic goals. How is it flexible? Because it responds to the market changes. Every year we are renewing it. So, therefore, how is it cost saving? Because it finds hidden saving opportunities. We are regularly reviewing it. So, regularly we are looking at it. So, we are bound to see some things which we can do some more efficiently. It also encourages innovation by motivating teams to rethink and improve their work. A very well known example of zero based budgeting is Texas Instruments. In the 1980s, which these Texas Instrument, it used zero based budgeting to reallocate their funds from the underperforming projects to the high growth product lines, and this boosted their profitability. But there are some, what you can say, challenges also with zero based budgeting. What are they? First thing you might that would come to anybody's minds is it is time consuming. Every year we have to dedicate time to do this thing, right? It requires detailed annual reviews. Similarly, expertise is needed. Managers have to have the budgeting as well as analytical skills, otherwise they will not be able to do this. And departments may push back against scrutiny. Sometimes nobody likes to get scrutinized, or nobody likes to get all the things looked into. There is going to be resistance of change. Also, there is a inherent risk of undervaluing long term investments, because we are all concerned about the short term basis. For the next 1 year, what should we do? When we look too close home, we might forget the bigger picture. right? That is why we say, no, don't look down and walk, because when you look down and walk, you will clearly see your next step, but you will not see if a bike is coming super fast from the opposite direction, it might hit you. Right. So, short term bias is there. Data dependence. Decisions are only as good as the data provided for taking the decisions. Also, when you think about it, in large organizations, this process can be quite complex. It can become overwhelming with too many decision units and decision packages. For instance, let's take the example of a very large hospital. If you start breaking down every activity annually for zero based budgeting, then it is going to stretch your administrative resources and delay your budget finalization. By the time your budget is finalized, it might be already time to start over again in terms of very large organizations. So these are some of the challenges that come with the zero based budgeting. Okay, so critically speaking, we can say zero based budgeting offers a sharper, more objective lens for resource allocation than your traditional budgeting, but it forces tough choices. It rewards efficiency, it aligns spending with strategy, but it is very thorough. This very thoroughness can be its weakening area also, because without accurate data or skilled managers and strong top level commitment, this process can stall or it can even backfire. So, what is the key takeaway from this session? It is that zero based budgeting is best suited for organizations that are willing to invest the time, the data, and the discipline that is needed to reap the benefits of the zero based budgeting. In the right environment, it is a very, very powerful tool to align every rupee with what truly matters. But in the wrong environment, it risks becoming a bureaucratic nightmare. It will become another nightmare on Elm Street kind of a thing. Okay.